It was late in the evening, and the streets of the city were buzzing with hurried footsteps, cars honking, and neon signs flickering in the distance. Amid the rush, a little girl named Emily clung to her father's hand. She was only 6 years old, her small frame wrapped in a pink coat, her eyes wide with innocence and curiosity. Her father, Daniel, was a tall, well-dressed man who carried himself with quiet authority. Many knew him as a successful millionaire entrepreneur, a man who built empires with his sharp mind and relentless determination. But to Emily, he was just Daddy. As they walked past the corner of a dimly lit street, Emily stopped suddenly. She tugged at Daniel's hand and pointed toward a woman lying on the cold pavement near a bench. Her clothes were torn, her hair was messy, and she seemed to be fast asleep, shivering even in her rest. Emily tilted her head and whispered, "Daddy, why is she sleeping here? Doesn't she have a bed like us?" Daniel froze, looking at the woman. He had seen scenes like this before, countless times, but he had never stopped to think about them. He had grown used to shutting out the world's noise and focusing only on his goals. But tonight, through his daughter's innocent question, the truth pierced through his heart like a sharp blade. He knelt down beside Emily, brushing her hair from her forehead. "Sweetheart," he said softly, "sometimes people don't have a home or a bed. Life isn't always kind to everyone." Emily's little eyes filled with sadness as she turned back to the woman. "But Daddy, she looks cold. Can't we help her? You always tell me we should be kind." Her words struck him deeper than he expected. Daniel prided himself on teaching his daughter values, but here she was reminding him of them. He looked around, people passed by without so much as a glance at the woman. In this city, indifference was the norm. But in that moment, Daniel felt his heart stir in a way it hadn't in years. Without another word, Daniel stepped toward the woman. He gently shook her shoulder. "Miss? Are you all right?" The woman stirred, blinking tiredly. Her voice was hoarse when she replied, "I'm fine. I just need to rest." But she was clearly not fine. Her face was pale, her body frail. Emily clutched her father's sleeve and whispered, "Daddy, please. Let's help her." Daniel hesitated only a moment before making a decision that surprised even himself. He removed his expensive coat and placed it gently over the woman's shoulders. "You can't stay here tonight," he said firmly. "Come with us." The woman's eyes widened. I can't. I don't want to be a burden." "You're not a burden," Daniel said firmly. "You need help, and my daughter is right. No one should have to sleep on the street." Emily smiled brightly, squeezing her father's hand. "See, Daddy? We can help her." And so, for the first time in his life, the millionaire single dad chose compassion over indifference. He hailed his car, and together they helped the woman inside. As the vehicle drove off, Emily leaned against her father, whispering, "Thank you, Daddy. She's safe now." Daniel looked at his daughter's innocent face and then at the woman shivering under his coat. Something inside him shifted that night. For all his wealth and power, he had never felt this kind of richness, the richness of kindness. He didn't know it yet, but this single act of compassion would change all of their lives forever. The car pulled into Daniel's grand estate, a mansion surrounded by towering gates and glowing lights. The woman gasped quietly, overwhelmed by the sight. She felt out of place, her worn shoes brushing against the marble floor as she stepped inside. Emily, however, ran ahead, her laughter filling the hall. "Daddy, can she stay in the guest room?" Emily asked eagerly. Daniel nodded, instructing the staff to prepare a warm bath and fresh clothes. The woman tried to protest, but Emily interrupted her with a smile. "You need rest, just like me. Daddy says everyone deserves a bed." The woman's eyes watered. She hadn't felt such kindness in years. She introduced herself softly, "My name is Sarah." Her voice trembled with both gratitude and fear. Over the next few days, Sarah slowly regained her strength. Emily would sit beside her, telling her stories, asking questions, and sharing her toys. When I grow up, I want to help people too, Emily said one evening, her little arms wrapped around Sarah's waist. Just like Daddy did when he brought you here. Daniel watched from afar, silently moved. He began to learn more about Sarah's past. She once had a job, a small apartment, and dreams, but life had thrown hardships her way, job loss, illness, and betrayal. Piece by piece, everything had been stripped away until she had nothing left. Listening to her story, Daniel realized something profound. Success was not only about building wealth but about lifting others up when they were down. He had been so consumed with running his empire that he forgot the human side of life. Emily, in her innocence, had reminded him of what truly mattered. One morning, Sarah sat across from Daniel at the breakfast table. She looked healthier now, though still shy. "I don't know how to thank you," she said quietly. "You and your daughter have given me more than I could ever repay." Daniel smiled. "You don't need to repay us. But I do have an idea. I run several foundations, but I've realized they lack a personal touch. Maybe you could help us. Share your experiences, guide us in helping people who truly need it." Sarah's eyes widened. You'd trust me with that?" "Why not?" Daniel replied. "Sometimes the best leaders are the ones who've lived through the struggles themselves." Emily clapped her hands joyfully. "Yay! That means Sarah will stay with us." Laughter filled the room, but beneath it was something deeper, a bond forming between three souls who had found each other by chance on a cold night. Weeks turned into months, and Sarah became a part of their lives. She worked closely with Daniel's foundation, ensuring real help reached those in need. She became a role model for Emily, showing her resilience and kindness. And Daniel, once a man hardened by business and solitude, began to rediscover joy, not just in success but in the simple act of caring. One evening, as the three of them sat in the garden, Emily leaned against Daniel's shoulder. "Daddy," she whispered, "I'm glad we found Sarah. You always tell me money is important, but I think kindness is more important, right?" Daniel kissed the top of her head. "You're right, sweetheart. Kindness is what makes us truly rich." Sarah, sitting beside them, smiled with tears in her eyes. She had found a family when she least expected it. And Daniel, the millionaire single dad, had discovered that sometimes the greatest treasures in life weren't found in bank accounts or boardrooms, but in compassion, second chances, and the innocence of a child's heart. And so, their story became a reminder for everyone who heard it. One small act of kindness can change a life, and sometimes it can change your own.